can't get better than that. So please could I have on stage Padma Shri Vidya Balan. Who has gone to the other side. I don't know whether she'll continue to being on both sides or will she choose one side. She's also a national award winner. And she's again an actor who's, enthralled her with her craft. And now her first debut film has also enthralled us with her craft in direction. So I think I'm blocking the photographers, so I will move this side. They do not want to shoot me. So let me please invite our second guest on stage, Konkana Sen Sharma, actor and director. Our third guest is also a national award winner, and he's someone who's donned many hats. His cinema is nuanced and is layered on so many levels that you really need to see it, savor it, understand it, and he's reinterpreted Shakespeare for all of us in so many wonderful ways. Please can I have on stage Vishal Bhardwaj, who important people in a film is the man who actually believes in the vision of the film. Believes in the fact that this film can be made and should be made and the story should be told. And that's the producer. We are living in a time when people are going out there and making and thinking of different stories, but you need someone to actually believe in that vision and put their money behind it. With films like Masaan, Aankhon Dekhi, and the just about to be released Newton, we also have on stage with us the CEO of Drishyam Films, another national award winner, Manish Mundra. Thank you very, very much to all of you to being a part of this discussion. And now we complete the panel because these are 4 national award winners. This is the other side. He's still striving to win his first Kandivali award, forget the national award. Okay. Vishal, let me start by asking you because I think the most important step, when you start a film, the journey of a film is the idea, and when you start building the building blocks, which is the writing part of it. When you start writing a film, is it exciting as a filmmaker for you to discover different nuances and discover different layers as you go along? Because I'm sure that's one of the most exciting parts, and I think Konkana can also add to that. The fact that when you're writing a script, it starts with something, and then it suddenly becomes much more layered and much more complex as you go along.
Yeah, because you start with an idea, and then you start layering it. And, you create characters, and then the conflicts come, then the plot point comes. But slowly, it happens with me when we develop a script. Till one point, we are leading the characters to a certain way, to a certain direction. But after a point, the characters actually start leading us. And then we cannot go against that. And of course, you are looking for something beyond the obvious, beyond the layer. You want to go deep down. You want to scratch those layers. And that's what we do in cinema. If it's not nuance, it's not cinema.
You're also... your films, are very interesting because you've interpreted Shakespeare in a different way for all of us, for us as audiences. And I would really want to know that how difficult it was to take that, because that is already such nuanced writing. You had to completely reinterpret it, make it your own, and then tell the story again.
Yeah, and that's why I took it, because when first time I was looking for a story, actually my genre was fixed that I wanted to make a film in underworld. But it's very difficult to find a good, otherwise the underworld films end up becoming, you know, like the gang wars. And you don't get a layered or the nuanced things. And I was looking for a story, and accidentally, you know, I was traveling in a train with a small kid, and I was getting bored, so I happened to read Macbeth in a very short, abridged version, Lamb's stories version. And that's where, you know, when that point came when Macbeth kills King Duncan, I couldn't believe it, that, you know, it actually happened. And then the guilt and the denial of guilt, you know. So it was so, and I had seen it, Kurosawa's Throne of Blood. But at the time when I saw it, I think I was not seeing it as a filmmaker. I just saw it as an audience, normal viewer. But when I read Macbeth, and then, you know, I ordered the book, I read the whole play, and I realized the layers of Shakespeare. And that's why he remains relevant after 450 years also. And you can adapt his work to any language, to any country, to any culture, because they're so human. It just talks about, you know, the basic human conflicts, the basic human relationships. And so that's why it's so nuanced, it's so easy for me, you know, because to create that kind of layered characters and conflicts and resolutions, it's a very difficult job. So actually I do it, so the work for me is less. I just have to, you know, interpret the characters and
no, it's not
the culture.
less. It makes it more difficult because you have to then reinterpret it and make it relevant and make it your own. You have to leave your stamp on it.
Yeah, because Gulzar Sahab often says that you are actually exploiting Shakespeare's name. Your films have nothing to do with Shakespeare. They are original. You are just exploiting Shakespeare's name.
That's a great marketing technique. Please, let's all learn that. Vidya, let me ask you as an actor, when you hear a script for the first time, you know, are you able to see the characters in this layered, multi-layered way, or does it take time for you know, as an actor to get into the skin of it and then unravel the character and then make it your own?
Firstly, hi everyone. And yeah, I think it really depends on the writing, you know, how it's been written determines whether I'm able to see the soul of the person, so to speak, instantly in the first reading, on the first narration, or whether it takes time. You know, sometimes the most layered stuff is also written so simply that you connect with that. You almost feel like you know the person. You literally delve into that person's soul. You get an idea of the context, social, political, economic, everything in maybe a few scenes. That happens very rarely, though. In most cases, it takes time to unravel the layers.
Let's go to a film that, you know, you did, The Dirty Picture, you know, where it was not an official biography
Biopic,
or biopic, but it had its roots in a real person.
Yeah.
You know, so is it difficult as an actor to get into a biopic because you already know so much about that character? You already, people can, and nowadays in the name of Google, you can Google everything about that person.
No, absolutely. And especially, you know, when it's a known figure.
Like a film like Jackie, you know everything about Jackie Kennedy.
Right. The thing is, one is doing a biopic of someone who's inspiring, whose story is inspiring, but you don't know the person. I think maybe you can still take a few liberties there, but with a known person, I think it becomes that much trickier because people are familiar with that person, you know, people have a certain perception of that person. There are people who know that person you have access to, and the perceptions of that person are also in the public domain. So I think that becomes a little tricky. But I think especially with The Dirty Picture, I was, you know, I had only seen her work. No one really knew Silk as a person. I tried speaking to people. They were almost averse to speaking about her, which is, you know, I don't know what they thought, what kind of film we were making, but they were scared to comment about her in any way, to commit to anything, because she was not around. We tried to get in touch with people from, you know, maybe people from her life, but we didn't manage to. So I think in that sense, I knew that it was my interpretation of who I thought she was. But I definitely think when it's a known person, it is, and a biopic is anyway tough. And when it's a known person, it's that much, I like to call it trickier.
As an actor?
Yeah, it's very delicate, you know. It's a delicate balance that you need to strike.
Konkona, now that you're a director also, you know, you're striding both sides. You're an actor and you're a filmmaker. So yeah, it's, well, what to do? You have to wear both hats. So tell me that, you know, when you thought about your debut film, you know, and when you were thinking about wanting to make that film, it almost like when the film released, did you feel that it crossed audiences that you were not expecting? Did more people enjoy it than you were expecting? Was that the audiences were opened up to a certain kind of cinema, you know, which is the nuanced cinema, which is slightly more cerebral? That there is an audience out there today that's willing to take that leap of faith and go and watch the film, you know, which was probably not existing when you did Mr. and Mrs. Iyer.
Well, you know, first, I mean, I've directed only one film, so it's hard to say. It's so new. And when I was writing the film, I remember thinking that, you know, nobody will give me money for this anyway, to make this film. And nobody in any case will go and watch it anyway. So I anyway had set my expectations very low. Because, you know, one has been in the, one has known these things from when one was very young. That, you know, certain kinds of films get more money or more of audience footfall and things like that. So I think I had kept very low expectations anyway, but I was pleasantly surprised because I think that the few people who watched it liked it.
Not a few, a lot of people went to watch the film. You know, let's be honest about it.
No, I'm being honest. I'm saying, like, considering the
we are not the
numbers.
Income tax. We are not going to ask you for box office figures.
No, but just comparing it to any, I mean, I think our collections were not even worth really getting into. So, you know, I'm being very honest. It's true that, you know, these are not films. And the thing is, the onus is on all of us. If we want to make more films which are a little alternative, then we all have to kind of collectively, as an audience, as writers, as actors,
take that leap.
Yeah, as producers, we all have to take that
side.
leap. Yeah. Meanwhile, this is the situation, which is why it's so nice that we have something like Privé, where we can just watch legally whatever we want.
Absolutely. And Manish, let me come to you, because you're someone who's actually going out there and making, you know, cinema, which probably, like Konkona said, would have not found the money. You've got a film coming out called Newton. You know, you've done Masan, you've done Dhanak, you've done Aankhon Dekhi. Are you seeing more and more people coming on? Are you seeing that there is a change? And as a producer, do you find it easier now? Or is it still something that's a tough ride to make nuanced or layered cinema?
Hi, good evening. Certainly, for our journey for last 3-4 years, when we started from Aankhon Dekhi as producing this film, and today when we stand on the cusp of releasing Newton, the journey is getting easier. Definitely, because you prove by one film and then get into the second one and the third one, the fourth one. And also, the advantage came in as the penetration of the digital platform. That gave us more viewers, more audiences who watch your film, though not in the cinema hall, but on their laptop, on the TV, or while flying. And they look at that film and they always become our potential customers or viewers when our next film comes in. So the audience base definitely increases. And that becomes one of the pulling figure of getting the journey easier. And when you have a larger audience base who is ready to watch such cinema, then you get more and more actors attracted towards it to experiment and to work, of course, on a lower fees, because the cost of production matters in these type of films. So it definitely, the journey has got better, easier, and the responsibility now is on us to keep producing and keep making such films so that the viewers' confidence increases on the films and more viewers start looking at this and watching these films in the cinema hall and of course also on the digital platform, the satellite platforms.
Vidya, as an actor, do you feel that more and more scripts are coming your way also now, which are more layered, which are far more complex? And Konkana, you know, are you getting those kind of scripts which, do you still feel that there is a long, there is still a long way to go as far as we are concerned as India? I mean, I'm asking you, do you really feel that? Do you feel that?
I definitely think that the ratio of scripts, you know, layered scripts has improved in the past few years. When we did Ishqiya, I remember the first time I heard Ishqiya, I had not heard anything like that. I had not read anything like that. You know, and at that time, that was the only film script that had appealed to me. Over the years, there's at least there are 2-3 films at a given point of time that I'm, you know, having to choose between. So I think it's a better ratio, but we have a long way to go. But people are investing more time in the writing, is what I feel. You know, a few years ago, I don't think there was anything called script development, especially if you wanted to make a marketable film. People were not interested in putting in that effort, time and energy into actually
Developing a script.
But today they are. So yes, they're still few and far between, but I think we're in a better place from where we were a few years ago.
Vishal bhai, do you feel...
No, let me first come to Ishqiya. I want to tell an anecdote, beautiful anecdote.
Please do.
Yeah, so, you know, I called Vidya that, you know, Abhishek is my assistant and he's making a film and would you like to hear the script? So she said, yeah, of course. So she came and, you know, to my office and Abhishek, and I told her, you know, you should hear it from the director so you'll get the confidence because otherwise she didn't know Abhishek. So she heard the first half and then I was not there, she left. And Abhishek told me she left. She said there was some, you know, some important
emergency
work
had come up.
I said, we have written such a bad script, Abhishek, that she has left in the middle. But she came back after an hour. And because we thought, you know, she made a bahana and she left, I can't hear anymore. But she came back and of course, you know.
It was an unavoidable situation. And I thought these things are, you know, I was being honest. I said I had some place to go to. I had a costume trial, I still remember. And I said, I'll come back in an hour. Abhishek is a kind of guy whose expressions you really can't read. So he was like, okay. And I left. In some time, I get a call from Vishal, and he was like,
नहीं पसंद आई
नहीं पसंद आई आप. I said, नहीं, अभी तक तो बहुत अच्छी है, और मैं second half मैंने सुनी नहीं है, मैं वापस जा रही हूँ. So he was like, okay.
But that 1 hour was like hell for us.
I'm sure Abhishek would have like almost, it's like walking out on a first date. It's his first film. Give the guy a break. You know, he's not experienced it yet. Vishal bhai, do you feel that now, you know, as a filmmaker, do you see that the choices of subjects are also increasing? Do you see, you know, when your assistants are coming to you and your, you know, younger filmmakers are coming to you, they're coming with newer ideas, they want to explore more than just the straight path of filmmaking that used to exist at one time?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, even if they're not coming to me, the kind of films are coming out. I think we're in the best of times in our Indian cinema. In past 100 years, I think इससे बढ़िया time नहीं आया है जहाँ पे film like Court, आँखों देखी, I loved आँखों देखी, Konkuna's film. These kind of films are, you know, getting theatre, they are getting released, they are getting their money back. Even if they are not making money, they are at least, you know, they are not losing money.
But a large support is, you know, channels like Anne Privé and also digital platforms.
Look at Kahani, the way Kahani came.
Those are great platforms.
The Kahani came, you know, nobody expected the film is going to become such a big hit.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we are in the best of times right now, and that's what is very encouraging for writers and filmmakers. And writing will take a little long because we have just, you know, realized the importance of writing. The Pune Film Institute, which had for past 60 years, they thought they have to make a film, they need a cinematographer, they need a director, editor, but they don't need a writer. 10 years back, 11 years back, they started a course for writing course. So we have realized now, and I think it's now, it's a beautiful time we are in.
let's come to, the film that is premiering on the 24th, Moonlight. I think all of us have seen the film. Tell us your impressions of the film, Vidya. I mean, what did you get, when you saw the film? Was it a film about, identity? Was it a film about, a person trying to break out? What did you get from the film, and what appealed to you most about it?
I think, yes, identity, but seen from a, different...
From a different lens.
Yeah, from a completely different lens, and you're growing with that individual. I still don't know how to pronounce his name.
Chiron.
Chiron, okay.
Is that right? Chiron. I got it right.
Okay, so, so I think what was wonderful was the fact that you literally feel like you're growing with that person. You're aware of the complexity of, the situation he's brought up in, his fractured relationship with his mother, his sexual identity, and because I think nothing can be seen exclusively, or in absolute terms. We are a result of all the experiences we have in our lives. So I think that part of it was captured really beautifully. It was unbelievable that this guy who was so shy and timid at the beginning of the film, suddenly when you see the grown-up Chiron, he's this, he fits the stereotype of the African-American
drug lord,
yeah. So you see how he got there, which is why you empathize with him that much more. I think I must say that I appreciated the film more after I had watched it entirely, because I kept wondering what they're getting at and where it's leading. And but after the film got over, I think there were things that it left me with. And because I'm not extremely familiar with the kind of struggle that the African Americans in that part of, or in any part of the US, except for what one has seen in the movies,
Sure.
But this, the way it was addressed or it was treated was also very, very beautiful. It was like an insider's
Look into it.
look into it, yeah.
Pankaj, for you, what did it leave you with? I mean, for me, I think one of the most important things was that, it was placed with the African American community, because we had not seen, the struggle for sexuality within that community, and masculinity is such a big thing for them. So,
Yeah.
That I think was captured beautifully for you. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree. I felt that even though the film was dealing with such vast kind of, themes, such big things like, race or sexuality or questions of identity, the film felt very intimate. And because it was shot so beautifully, and because there were like these three, it was in three parts, like a triptych. So there was, this sense of you're not losing yourself completely into the emotion. You are aware that it's a film, that it's talking about certain things, it's giving you, very nuanced, very, complex kind of a context to his life. But at the same time, it was so, his experiences, the way we were able to connect with his life was so genuine. And I think that's what, it's a genuine human experience. So it doesn't even matter beyond a point that I have not personally had an African-American experience, because it translates to beyond that. It is able to reach beyond that, because I think you're able to empathize with very small, intimate moments in their lives. And those stayed with me, certain images, those stayed with me.
They were able to make it personal, even though they were talking about a universal, thing. Manish, what did you think about it? I mean, do you feel that it also, touched on topics and things and, aspects of the person's life, and left you with such brilliant performances, and so much of it was unsaid? I mean, it was not a very dialogue-heavy film.
Yeah, so exactly, and I agree with both the comments that were made about the film. It's layered, nuanced, and we can feel and we can connect with Chiron. But let me give that perspective from producer's point of view. When I
Sure.
watched the film, what interesting things I noticed was the level of preparation which went into probably making this film. because I saw it was so prepared, and the using of the real life sets and real life incidences, and the way the camera was working. I mean, I thought it's a case study that Indian filmmakers also should look into from the point of view of getting the preparations done before you start a film. And I also read that all the three stratas of Sharon, they didn't see each other's films, and if you look at it as one go, it seems as if they learned from each other. So that actually shows the level of preparation which would have gone into it. And only one character, the mother, is there in all the three sets or segment. Rest all are different characters all across.
It's episodic, but it's one film.
One film. And most important is the cost of filmmaking, Moonlight. It was such an example of independent filmmaking, less than $2.5 million the cost, and would have done more than $80 million across worldwide, and also the awards and recognitions and nominations. So this is more interesting for me from producer's point of view, that how the director used the camera, the background score, so light in terms of dialogue and portrayal of the story, that the audience were guessing, audience were also searching for a story within the story, looking themselves as a part of Sharon, and not only just from the African American point of view, but also from individual point of view that we all have went through in our lives as a childhood, how we have changed getting into the adulthood and the adolescence period. So I was really happy with the film, both from audience point of view and from producer's point of view.
Vishal bhai?
Yeah, I'm very happy to hear Manish, because if we get these kind of producers to make, if we can make a Moonlight, I think we are evolved, but we are not that evolved. Our audience is not that evolved to see such a layered and nuanced film. And I think, yeah, it's one of the best film I have ever seen. There are so many layers I can talk about, like the three parts. They are like, one is like the wounding, the next is scarring, and the third is healing. You know, it's in that order. The water is the theme. If you see, you know, the sea has a part.
The colors that
the water sound, the way they have used water, and you see, you know, he's training the boy to how to swim.
Yes.
And then they are sitting near the beach.
The beach.
And the waves are coming, and the way he cries, the tear comes out when he's sitting with his mother.
I didn't notice that the tear, but yeah, that's
you
water.
One more thing, you won't see a white person in the in the whole film. The only scene where they come to arrest that in the second part, the Chiron. Only that cop who is white. Otherwise, you won't see a white person in the film. So there's so many layers in the film, and it's based on a stage play, and the name of the play is the poetry itself. In Moonlight, the black boys look blue.
Yes, the black boys.
I think this is the name of the play, and it's like a poetry, and it's that kind of poetry or a sad musical piece, you know, which you long for when you want to feel sad and you want to enjoy your sadness. Is that kind of, it heals you. It's like that kind of you know, melancholy which you long to be in for a long time.
Wow, that's a beautiful way actually to put Moonlight. Okay, so we have actors, we have, you know, producers, we have a director. I would like to call on stage someone who's actually the other side of this business, the broadcaster. It's my pleasure to invite on stage Mr. Puneet Mishra, the CEO of Domestic Broadcast Zeal, the man who's actually put all this together, and I would please invite him on stage to join us on this panel. Can I please have a round of applause for him? Mr. Puneet Mishra, the CEO of Domestic Broadcast Zeal. Okay, I don't know how many of you know, but this is actually Puneet's second job, if I'm right.
But technically the third, but count it
As two. I mean, he was with Hindustan Levers, and like he says, he was selling soaps, and now he's selling soaps. Nothing much has changed, so Nothing much has changed. So, Puneet, let me ask you. I mean, what inspired you to, go to the other side and get this content to India? Because this is content that we all like to watch, want to watch, but don't know where to watch.
Look, first of all, may I just thank this esteemed panel here for being here. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion. It's a big day for us. We have been in the business of bringing movies, the English movies, to the Indian audiences. But we believe that we've taken a step which is a pretty significant step in terms of the kind of content that, and the panel was talking about the kind of content that now more and more people are interested in watching. And as I said earlier, when we began the proceedings, we believe that more is more. The more better quality of content is made available, irrespective of platforms, the more the opportunities are there, we believe that there will be viewers who will be interested. Our quest is to seek out large enough segments across all possible viewership genres. And we believe that while there is a huge space for the so-called commercial, the blockbuster English cinema, and we have all loved it, there is equally an opportunity for the nuanced, the layered, the other side as we call it. And as we're not the first guys in terms of the HD genre of movies, so it's not that we are the first ones. We've been watching the market in the last few years. And every time that there has been an entry in the field of, in this kind of a space, the market has grown. It's grown to the extent of 70% in the last 18 months.
Wow.
So we see that as meaning that more is more. Bring in great content, curate it well, market it well, there is an audience. That's our belief.
Okay, so let's really, really hope for the best and hope that, you are able to get more and more people to go to the other side, because like I said, these are great pieces of art.
Absolutely.
And we all need to, learn to appreciate more and more art and more diverse form of art. Thank you very much, Puneet. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Vidya. Thank you, Konkana. Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Vishal Bhai. I would just like to throw it open to the audience for any questions that they would have for our panelists, for, people on stage, on cinema, on acting, on anything. On the rains, on... How's it raining outside? Is it pretty bad? What's the WhatsApp status? What's the WhatsApp status? Anyone? The trains are not working. See? I knew there was an update.
Hi Vidya, Ravi from ABP News.
Hi
Konkana, hi Vishal, hi Manish. आप सबसे जानना चाहूँगा कि जब आप लोग बड़े हो रहे थे स्कूल कॉलेज के दौरान ऐसी कौन सी फिल्में थी जिन्होंने आप लोगों के दिमाग को बहुत प्रभावित किया? कौन सा सिनेमा था जिसे देख कर आप लोग बड़े हुए और कभी सोचा कि फिल्म में कुछ करेंगे?
Like your nuanced cinema growing up.
Yeah. Actually, बचपन में ज़्यादा फिल्में देखने को नहीं मिलता था because थिएटर नहीं जाते थे. I think I was born in that video revolution era. So Sunday शाम को जो फिल्में दिखाते थे वही हम लोग देखते थे. But it was interesting that you saw those big blockbuster films on Sunday evenings on Doordarshan, और फिर Sunday afternoons में they used to show very interesting,
national award-winning films.
National award-winning films from different parts of the country. Or I remember watching Hrishikesh Mukherjee films and completely enjoying them, and Gulzar Saab's films and completely enjoying them. For me, if you ask me, those are the films that have stayed with me to date. They were nuanced, but they were accessible. And I think that is invaluable for me. As an actor, I think I don't want to be spoon-fed, but at the same time, I like things to be accessible, not absolutely cerebral. I like things to touch me. So I saw that in Gulzar Saab's films and Hrishikesh Mukherjee's films. So that's what, वो याद है मुझे, वो फिल्में ज़ुबानी याद है.
Konkana?
All kinds of films we saw growing up. Not a lot of Hindi films. Amongst the Hindi films, I can only remember Mr. India, which we saw repeatedly, and Masoom and Sagar. These three films. I remember. But other than that, we saw a lot of Satyajit Ray, and we saw a lot of world cinema, a lot of European cinema. Yeah, and we used to see it again and again as kids. Like every day, Jule Jim would play. Every day, I'd be watching bits of it. So there's so much a part of my childhood, and even some other films like some of the better Hollywood films, I would say, like Dead Poets Society or Picnic at Hanging Rock. There's some films like that which come, Man on the Moon, films like that.
Manish, what is your memory of?
There's a long list because I used to watch almost all the films. But the films which really impacted on me and made me think that I also need to make films is actually Ardh Satya, Mirch Masala, Masoom was one of them, Arth. I think these films, I would watch all Smita Patil films, Naseeruddin Shah films, Om Puri films, and that actually turned me that this is something when we can see a common face and they can tell great stories. I thought that impacted me much, and that turned me into what I am today in form of films.
Vishal bhai?
You know, in childhood, I watched all Manmohan Desai films. They were like Amar Akbar Anthony and you know, those kind of films.
Ek mara but solid mara.
तो या तो वो उन फिल्मों के ऊपर पले बढ़े और एक याद है बचपन में स्कूल से भाग के द ब्लू लगून देखी थी तो वो देखा यार ब्लू लगून का बड़ा वो था
इम्पैक्ट रहा आपकी जिंदगी
and I remember you know there was a person sitting and he told my father your son was watching Blue Lagoon so it was like a sin watching Blue Lagoon. Yeah, but later I think in my adolescent stage, you know, the film which impacted me the most was Saransh. Saransh and that one song in Saransh, you know, Andhiara Gehraya, where, you know, he's sitting, it's a beautiful film. And Earth, of course, and Guldar Saab's film. And later, you know, I grew up later because when I watched Kieslowski, and that I saw very late in 1996, when I had already given music for Marches, I happened to see Kieslowski in a film festival when I watched his Decalogue. And it changed my perspective for cinema forever. That cinema has this kind of language. It can be so deeply penetrating that I didn't know.
So the one thing that comes out from this list of films is that there are certain films which are timeless. They remain with you forever. And that's, I think, the beauty of nuanced cinema, that it remains with you for a really long time.
Yeah, the timelessness is the, you know, definition for a... Like I discovered Ray Saab so late, but still it's so relevant. They are so, it still feel contemporary. The way he used voiceovers in that time, that we are not able to use even now, that the way he has done it.
Wow. So that's, I think, did that answer your question?
Yeah. विद्या एक और सवाल है कि CBFC में हाल ही में बहुत बड़ा बदलाव आया, बहुत अप्रिशिएट किया जा रहा है वो बदलाव और आप भी कमिटी में आ गई हैं तो मैं जानना चाहूँगा कि इस बदलाव को किस तौर से आप देखती हैं और क्या वो बात थी जिसके लिए आपने हामी भरी कि आप कमिटी में आए?
मुझे लगा कि अगर मैं इसके लिए हामी ना भरूं then I'd lose the right to criticize any decision ever taken by the CBFC. तो अगर मुझे ये opportunity मिल रहा था तो मैंने कहा कि हाँ मैं ये ज़िम्मा ज़रूर मैं ये ज़िम्मा उठाने को तैयार हूँ और I don't want to say anything about you know what our approach is going to be or what our decisions are going to be based on, but यही कहूँगी कि हाल ही में हमारी एक मीटिंग हुई पूरे बोर्ड की और अच्छा लगा कि हम सब समान सोचने वाले लोग हैं इस बोर्ड पे.
विशाल और कोंकणा आप लोग इस बदलाव को कैसे देखते हैं?
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है कि you know विद्या उसमें है and person who is a poet is heading CBFC. I hope he remains poetic in his decisions also. So I'm very hopeful because Prasoon is a friend and I really love his work and you know it's very hopeful for the filmmakers and the film industry.
Hi Vidya. First of all the best for Tumhari Sulu. and I just want to ask you that you are associated with so many social campaigns, and nowadays, do you think it is the time for people to, they have started watching movies which are based on social taboos, also like Toilet Ek Prem Katha or like Shubh Mangal Savdhan? So do you think that the era has come and also the filmmakers are also making movies on social taboos?
No, I think, you know, the big change is that slowly but surely we are veering towards making and watching films that are very relatable, where the hero is not out of the ordinary. He is or she is an ordinary person who overcomes circumstances in his or her life or a certain conflict and emerges to be extraordinary, because out of the ordinary comes the extraordinary, right? So I think that's the shift, which is why you see even, you know, an actor like Akshay Kumar do a film like Toilet Ek Prem Katha. I haven't seen the film, but I know the story. So I think that's what it is. It's not about wanting to make a film about social issues, but sorry, but it's about wanting to tell our stories, stories that are relevant to us, you know, stories that are rooted in our reality. And I saw Shubh Mangal Savdhan very recently. I enjoyed the film thoroughly. You know, 2 years ago, you couldn't have imagined that there'd be a film about erectile dysfunction, you know, with a fairly popular actor playing the role of a man who suffers from that. You know, and of course it is.
And the way it's been treated.
It's been treated so beautifully, right? So I think it's, let's not look at it, don't personally look at it as issue-based or cause-based. I think it's about relatability.
Also, Vishalji and Konkanaji, the question is for you is that certainly, recently certain things are being revealed about Bollywood. Dawood Ibrahim.
Can we avoid this question? Because
Mr. Iqbal.
This is not the right platform for it. This is not the right platform.
But they belong to the same fraternity,
but
sir.
it's
That's
not the
why
right
I'm asking
platform.
that
So I would call it off because this is not the right platform for it. The platform is for the launch of a network and for the launch of nuanced cinema. So can we keep the questions related to cinema, please? And that's a request.
Vidya ji, hi. आपके सामने.
Just 2 more questions, please.
Hi.
Hi. विद्या जी, टैगलाइन है फील द अदर साइड में कितना बिलीव करती हैं आप और क्या कहना चाहेंगी?
मतलब हर कहानी के, हर किरदार के, हर शख्स के अलग अलग पहलू होते हैं. आप एज अ फिल्म मेकर किस पहलू पे रोशनी डाल रहे हैं, you know, ये आप पे निर्भर है. एज एन ऑडियंस आप उसमें क्या देखते हैं, ये आप पे, it's very individual. So I think it's, firstly, congratulations on the launch of Anne Privé. I think it's great because आजकल तो हम लोग ज़्यादातर we are watching films on our, you know, laptops or in our homes. आप लोग थिएटर उतना नहीं जाते unfortunately. सिवाय बड़ी फिल्मों के लिए. पर it's great because हर रोज ये इनका दावा है, इनका प्रॉमिस है कि 100 दिनों तक हर रोज ये एक नई फिल्म दिखाएंगे, रोज रात 9 बजे. तो आई थिंक देयर इज अ सर्टेन शेयर. आप भी देखिए, मैं भी देखूंगी रात को और फिर अगले दिन सुबह बात होगी फिल्म के बारे में. सो इट्स अ शेयर एक्सपीरियंस. सो आई रियली वांट टू कंग्रेचुलेट यू. आई लव द आइडिया ऑफ दैट. Coming back to your question, which I've conveniently forgotten now. So sorry.
That he wanted to know primarily what you thought about the tagline.
Yeah. So I think it's wonderful क्योंकि उस तरह की फिल्में जो शायद हमने थिएटर में मिस की हो, या maybe because there weren't too many shows of films like this, उस तरह की फिल्में हमें यहाँ देखने को मिलेंगी. And within the private का मतलब private है, in, you know, your own space. So that tagline I think is very evocative of what they're trying to do.
विद्या जी, क्योंकि इंग्लिश फिल्मों की बात हो रही है इसलिए आपसे जानना चाहूँगा. प्रेजेंट टाइम में हम देख रहे हैं कि बहुत हमारे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लोग बाहर जा रहे हैं, हॉलीवुड जा रहे हैं और अच्छा कर रहे हैं, तो आप मतलब कोई ऐसा फेवरेट डायरेक्टर है, फेवरेट ऐसा एक्टर है हॉलीवुड का जिनके साथ आप काम करना चाहेंगी, या आपकी ऐसी कोई इच्छा ऐसी?
देखिए, हिंदुस्तान में एक है गुलजार साहब और बाहर एक है वुडी एलन। वो मैं गुलजार साहब से कहती रहती हूँ कि मुझे लेकर प्लीज एक एड फिल्म तो डायरेक्ट कीजिए, मैं एक बार वो अनुभव महसूस करना चाहती हूँ। पर वुडी एलन के साथ मैं अपना सब कुछ, मतलब आर्म लेग जो कहते हैं ना, सब कुछ त्याग देने को तैयार हूँ टू वर्क विथ हिम। क्या पता कब वो मौका मिले ना मिले।
आई विश की जल्दी होगा।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू।
आपकी भी फिल्म यहाँ पर दिखाई जाएगी विद्या जी, तुम्हारी सुल्लू?
ये तो इंग्लिश चैनल है तो नहीं, पर मे बी वी कैन स्ट्राइक अ स्पेशल डील।
We can strike a special deal with Z for sure.
Hi, this is Bhavna from
Thank you.
Hi, Vidya, Bhavna from Z News. Hi everyone. I know आप सब लोग बहुत busy हैं। मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि हम बदलाव की बात कर रहे हैं फिल्मों में। हाल फिलहाल में कौन सी ऐसी बॉलीवुड फिल्म है जो आप लोगों ने देखी है और आपको बेहद पसंद आई है?
मैंने तो बता दिया, शुभ मंगल सावधान मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी।
I saw Death in the Gunj and I loved it. That's a film that I think was beautiful in every sense of the word. It had wonderful actors, it had a wonderful story, and it was nuanced, and it really touched you. So yeah, that was one film that I saw. Vishal bhai, that's the film you wanted to talk about also, Death in the Gunj?
No. I'm thinking while you guys say recent what.
I think I love Dangal. I really loved Dangal. It was very well written and beautifully done film. And
but I really liked Kapoor and Sons last year.
Another film which was nuanced. It was layered and it had so many things, going for it. So on that note, I would like to say thank you very much to everybody. Kubra.
Sir, one last question.
Okay, one last question.
Okay. My question is to Vidya, Konkana, Vishal ji. ओवर द ईयर्स हमने देखा है कि एक स्टार ड्रिवन फिल्म जो होती है, लोग उसको जाते हैं देखने के लिए, बीट शाहरुख खान फिल्म, सलमान खान फिल्म, बट ऑफ लेट एक ट्रेंड, एक कह सकते हैं ऑडियंस जो है वो कंटेंट देखने जाती है. हैरी मेट सेजल, पीपल डिडंट लाइक इट. ट्यूबलाइट, पीपल डिडंट लाइक इट. इट डिडंट डू वेल एट बॉक्स ऑफिस. वहीं एक जो फिल्म है शुभ मंगल सावधान और बरेली की बर्फी, they have done well, people have liked it. So can we say now people go for content and not for the stars?
Actually, Manish should answer this. I think I don't want to comment about any particular film, but if a film is good, it doesn't matter if there are big stars or there are no known stars. A good film always manages to connect. I don't know whether I should say good or honest, but there's something about a film that when a film connects with people, it does well, and that's irrespective of who's in the film or who's made it.
Konkana, you want to add something to it? Manish, you want to add something to it?
I have a simple answer for that. Yes, content is important. It becomes very relevant nowadays. But content added with star has great value. So definitely.
And Dangal is a prime example of that.
Dangal is a prime example.
Dangal is a prime example of great content with a big star.
Yeah.
It just crossed everywhere.
So Indian film viewers actually love content. That's for sure. They have been educated enough. And if it is iced with great star value, it will be the best. Like Dangal is an example, I think. And that's the reality.
Thank you very much, Kubra. Thank you very much for a lovely evening. And
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't be shy. I mean, this is certainly not the moment. Please do put your hands together and let's hear a loud round of applause. If you loved every moment that you witnessed, felt, and submerged yourself into, Mr. Misra, you're on stage, and I'm going to request you to kindly hand over token of appreciations to our valuable panelists and, of course, our supernova moderator. He's so wonderful, isn't he? He just went like, do not ask that question. All right.